Back, we're in the next video. So what we're going to be talking about again is sort of the psychology of business, the psychology of the consumer, who's to blame, who needs to take responsibility, who's accountable for all this, who's accountable for putting it in the product, you know, all that sort of stuff. We're going to be looking at that in this video. So, what happens with most people, and what might be happening with this video, is that most people are going to be blaming the businesses and the companies and the government for putting it in the products. But there is a counter argument to that, and I'm a great supporter of the counter argument. So if a business or company used it, I would support that notion. But I also support the people in saying that these ingredients in these foods just ain't good enough. But then it comes down to the person of, you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. So if people come back and say, well, the companies shouldn't be doing this and the companies shouldn't be doing that and yada yada yada, essentially it's down to the person who buys it. If you go into a shop and buy it, they're not telling you to buy it, they're just making it very attractive to buy. You don't have to buy it, or the people don't have to buy it. And that, I think, is a very important factor when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to food, because like McDonald's say to be consumed as part of a healthy, balanced diet. Now, they could mean that to be consumed as a healthy, balanced diet, only have one portion of chips once a week. But people go in there most days. That's not their fault that people keep walking through their door and buying it, because that's good for them. A business has to make profit. Everyone in business has to make profit. Even a household has to make profit, because if they don't make profit, then they'll lose their house, or they'll lose their car, or they'll lose the possessions within the house. So everyone's got to make a profit somewhere down the line. So it does come down to the individual. It's not McDonald's fault that someone walks in there 7 days a week, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the morning to get an egg McMuffin and a coffee, and then in the evening before they get home go in and buy a Big Mac meal. That's not their fault. That's the person's choice to go and do that. The business is just a business with an open door that allows anyone to come in. They can't then say, no, you've been in once today, you can't come in. Or, no, you've already bought your quota of McDonald's for the day, you can't buy any more. What it comes down to, it's the psychology of the individual, and the empowerment of the individual, and the education and the knowledge of the individual and you could say inner strength and inner belief of the individual to say, no, I'm not eating that anymore. I'm going to go down this road, and I'm going to eat fresher food. I'm going to eat fresher vegetables and things like that. I'm going to eat wholesome foods, whatever it might be. So we want to not get on the back of companies and businesses so much, because we're just sort of self-perpetuating it in the way that, they're just a business doing their thing, and people will go in and out of their shop and buy their stuff. What we want to do is we want to empower ourselves and educate ourselves in a way to say, no, I've had enough of that product, I'm not going to use that anymore, I'm not going to go in McDonald's anymore, I'm not going to go in Starbucks anymore, I'm not going to buy these Special K good source of fibre raspberry cheesecake bars anymore. I'm going to buy fresher vegetables. I'm going to eat more fresher vegetables. I'm going to supplement more vegetables in my diet for these other foods. I'm going to drink more water instead of coffee. I'm going to drink water on the way to work and not a coffee on the way to work. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to the individual in the decisions they make. Yes, we're bombarded with marketing and advertising every single day, every single hour of the day, on billboards, on TV, on radio, everywhere. But again, the determining factor is you going in that shop and handing over money for a product. That is the determining factor, because until you do that, nothing has happened. You're the one that makes the decision. I watch a lot of advertising, I read a lot of advertising, I read a lot of food magazines which has all sorts of different advertising in it, but you don't see me always going into the shops and buying those foods. I'm bombarded with the same thing, but I eat a lot of wholesome foods, I drink a lot of water. So it is down to the individual at the end of the day. I'm not saying businesses should be allowed to do what they're doing, because if I look at this ingredients, it really isn't good enough. But they're allowed to do it. They've been allowed to do it for the last 15, 20, 30, 50 years. they've been allowed to do it. So if you're allowed to do it, then you just do it, and people keep buying it, and everyone just gets on with their life. But it's until people take a stance and stop buying it that things will change. Because if no one went out and bought foods with additives in it, then there would be a change. There would be a definite change. Business would change their habits. It's just the fact that no one's changing their habits, so businesses don't have to. If no one went out, like I said, if no one went out and bought foods with additives in it, companies wouldn't put it in there. If people went out and bought low sugar foods, people wouldn't sell it because businesses wouldn't make money at it. So that's what you got to think of with business. Businesses are there to make money. Business look at human behaviour. Okay, what are people buying? What do people want? People want sugar. People like the taste of sugar. Okay, so we'll sell them, or not so much sugar, but people like sweetness. So we'll sell things that are sweet. People like low calorie. So we'll take out all the fat calories and we'll fill it up with sugar calories. Or we'll take out all the fat because people don't like high fat foods, and we'll put in this xanthan gum to give it the thickness. So they're not getting the fat, which is what they want. But if the consumer took a stance and didn't buy that, then the companies wouldn't do it. So if we just went out and bought vegetables, Coca-Cola and Kellogg's would start selling vegetables, because that's where the money is, in selling vegetables. So they would do that because that's what businessmen and business people and business women do. They're there to make money, they're there to make profit. If they see there's a market for vegetables, they'll sell them. It's, for want of a better word, it's as simple as that. So what we've got to do as consumers is we've got to take a stance and not buy those foods. That's the biggest message we can send to them. We can send them petitions, we can complain about them, but that isn't going to change until people stop buying it. That is the biggest thing we can do, is stop buying their foods. It's as simple as that. You stop buying their foods, they won't sell it because there's not a market for it. It's just like that. You'll buy certain foods and they're thinking, great, we'll keep selling it. So when it comes down to it, don't buy the foods. It's as simple as that. When you're educating yourself, educate yourself on sort of the disadvantages of the foods, and watch videos like this. Go to my website christopherhole.com and watch more videos. All about educating yourself about nutrition and your body and how your body works and everything like that. And then make your decision on what food you're going to buy. Because until that's done by society, then companies will keep selling these foods. So what I'm going to recommend to you are things to avoid and things that I'm going to advise. So things to avoid: processed food in general. We'll just say any sort of processed food. Fast foods, confectionaries, soft drinks and cordials, pre-packaged food, refined foods, low-fat or healthy options. Remember, like I said about the xanthan gum. Is that healthy? Eating that bacteria, that gunk from a bacteria on a rotting cabbage. So stay away from low-fat and healthy options, because they've got something else in them. They've got some chemical in them. And then like cheap sausages, burgers and pies, because again they're all processed, and it could be any part of the animal. If it says chicken, okay, is it the chicken breast? Is it the chicken thigh? Is it the chicken ankle? Is it the chicken gut? Is it what part of the chicken is it? It's just chicken. Or beef? What part of the cow is it? Pork? What part of the pig is it? It's pork, but what part? It's not saying what part. It's just saying 100% pork. It might well be, but what part? So avoid those types of foods, because again that will influence what they're selling. The more that people avoid buying it, the more the companies won't want to sell it. The more people want to buy it, the more companies want to sell it. It's as simple as that. So things I'm going to advise: buy organic and limit the amount of additives in your food, because it's going to be very hard to eliminate all of it for the most people. So minimalise it, limit as much as you can. Use whole foods and fresh produce. Get it as fresh as you can. Cook food yourself. Choose your ingredients so you know what's in there. And then always read food ingredients labels. I hope these 5 videos have been enough for you just to take 30 seconds just to start looking at what is in these foods. How much sugar is in there? When it comes to carbohydrates, is it 90% sugar? How much fat's in there? How much saturated fat's in there? How much of the good oils are in there? Poly and monounsaturated fats? What vitamins are in there? What preservatives are in there? What additives are in there? Start looking at the nutritional value and the ingredients of these foods. I cannot stress it enough. And the only way all of this is going to change is if people stop buying the product. And I'm going to end it there. Do not buy the product. You want this to stop? Stop buying the product. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been helpful. Please leave your comments. Come to my website, christopherhull.com. Come see me on Facebook at Christopher Hull or Twitter, Christopher Hull. And yeah, I'll look forward to speaking with you in the future. All right, thanks a lot and goodbye.